থেকেও হচ্ছে।
স্যার গুগল
তোমরা
ফর্ম থেকে
কি-
মেল এসেছে, বাট ওখান থেকে কোনো মেল আসেনি।
গুগল মানে গুগল ফর্মটা ফিল আপ করেছিলে?
হ্যাঁ, করার পর
হ্যাঁ
গুগল
স্যার
ফর্ম
গুগল ফর্ম
থেকে
ফিল আপ করেছিলাম,
ওখান থেকে মেল এসেছে।
স্যার
আচ্ছা,
কলেজ
কি
থেকে তো
কি
মেল
কি
আসছে।
ছিল?
মেলটা আসল জায়গায় আসছে না স্যার, স্প্যামে আসছে।
স্যার মেলটা স্প্যামে ঢুকছে, নরমাল মেলে স্যার ইনবক্সে আসছে না, ওটা স্প্যামে আসছে।
হ্যাঁ স্যার।
তাহলে তোমরা যারা যারা পাওনি তারা একটু স্প্যাম চেক করো, প্লিজ চেক ইউর
স্যার
স্প্যাম
আমার স্প্যামেও
ওকে
আসে।
স্যার।
আচ্ছা, চেক করো, আর যদি না পাও প্লিজ টেল which activity club have you chosen?
Sir, I have chosen photography as first choice.
So photography, please stay here. As I told yesterday that for photography club members you will use the same link as the induction program. Ar bakira, what about the rest?
হ্যাঁ স্যার স্প্যাম চেক করলাম, স্প্যাম চেক করে স্যার আমি জয়েন করতে পারলাম। স্যার আমি আগের দিন করেছি, আমার সাথে অনেক কনফিউজ হচ্ছিলাম যে জয়েন করতে পারছি না কেন, জয়েন করে গেছি।
So probably check your spam folder. A mail would be there for the joining link in WhatsApp, either in a WhatsApp group or a Telegram group for different activities. Singing, dancing, and recitation. 3 WhatsApp groups are created. You join that WhatsApp group, a link will be provided every day for this session. And I repeat, for photography club members, you'll use the same link as the induction program. So apart from photography club members, those who are present here can leave.
Sir, I am not add to any club yet. I am first choice is photography club, but कोई email नहीं आया.
You didn't receive any email?
नहीं sir.
Have you filled up a choice? Have you given the choices?
Yes.
Okay. So if you're interested in photography, then please stay in this club. So I won't be sending you any separate joining link, or maybe by the end of this lecture, MR sir will be sending you the link to join the Telegram group. MR sir has created a Telegram
But sir,
group where people are joining.
বাট স্যার আমাদের কোঅর্ডিনেটর ম্যাম আমাদেরকে একটা লিংক পাঠিয়েছে ফটোগ্রাফি গ্রুপের।
ওইটাই তো, is that a Telegram group link?
ইয়েস স্যার, হ্যাঁ টেলিগ্রাম গ্রুপ লিংক।
Right, so that is a Telegram group link for joining the photography club. So those who are interested to join the photography club can click that link, and you will join the Telegram group created for photography club. And every day the activity classes will be, for the activity classes the same link will be used as the induction program.
Okay.
Anything else?
ওকে স্যার, ওকে।
Krishanu Ghosh, aren't these 2 links are same? I didn't get your question. What do you mean, Krishanu?
না স্যার এই একই লিংকটা এর আগে একবার দেয়া হয়েছিল, ওই জন্য আমি জিজ্ঞেস করছিলাম।
Photography club link is the same. Okay. Rahul, please mute yourself. Rahul Kumar.
Who will start the class now, sir?
क्या बोल रहे हो तन्मय?
Who will start the class now, sir?
MR sir, are you in photography club?
Okay, sir.
Are you in photography club, Tanmay Kumar?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so MR sir will soon start the class. MR sir and Divan sir will be there.
Hello,
they will
sir.
start the photography. हाँ बोलो.
The link in the
Hello.
chat. What I can do with that, sir?
What link?
In the chat section, sir.
In the chat section, is there a link given to you?
Sir, that's a feedback link. We had to format here.
No, yeah. That's a feedback or the attendance link or the feedback link. So everybody is supposed to fill up that feedback link. It's a feedback form, right? I repeat,
that link given twice, so I asked that.
Okay. So those who are not in the photography club may leave and join the respective activity clubs
Excuse me, sir. I
that are
have
going
a
on.
question.
Yeah, Devlina.
Sir, I tried to open the link which was sent in the group, but when I click the link, it opens to a page where it's saying this form is no longer accepting responses and has been set to automatically closed by the Gmail ID for the college.
When did you attempt to fill up the form, Devlina?
Sir, right now, actually, I couldn't join because I was not sent the email yesterday. So I tried to join today, but
Yesterday, did you attend the induction program?
No, sir.
You didn't. So how did you or how did you come to know about the link, the feedback link?
Sir, actually, I was sent an email today at 1:12 p.m. So that's when I came to know about this Telegram group. So I joined a bit late.
No, I didn't get your question. Did you fill up the activity club preference form?
No, sir.
Did you fill that up?
Actually, I tried to fill that up, but the
So the
website
form,
that it's leading to, it's
the
saying
form
that
was
it's
automatically closed because you were late in filling the form.
yes,
So what is your preference?
sir. It's photography.
So stay here in the same using the same link, and probably by the end of this class, MR sir will be sending those who have not received the Telegram group link. MR sir will be sending those links to you. You can join the Telegram group. Is it okay?
Okay, thank you, sir.
Sir, group has been created in our WhatsApp for our poem recitation, but no link has come still now.
No, has sir posted anything on in the group? I hope there would be. What I know so far by talking to your mentor is that maybe that recitation club will start a bit late, maybe at 4 o'clock. Didn't he write anything in the group?
He told that he will postpone the meeting.
He will postpone the meeting, right? So the meeting will be a bit delayed, but it will be there. Don't worry, he's in an emergency meeting. So the activity club classes will be there, but maybe it will start a bit late. So don't worry. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
So I repeat, those who are not in the photography club, please leave. You may leave this meeting and wait for your mentors to send the joining links.
आज फोटोग्राफी का सर क्लास नहीं है.
है तन्मय, वेट करो, अभी थोड़ी देर में शुरू होने वाला है.
Okay, sir.
Stay. कोई है जो फोटोग्राफी क्लब में नहीं है फिर भी यहाँ है? Anybody? Okay. So write in the chat box, how many of you have a DSLR? How many of you have a DSLR camera? Use a DSLR camera.
I have.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, I have mirrorless.
Yeah. Oh, so you have a mirrorless camera?
Yes, sir.
Mirrorless, which company?
Sony A7R2.
Okay, so you are into photography, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, anybody else who is really into photography?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, I have.
Sir, I have both actually. One is
Both?
of my father and the other is of mine.
So is it a mirrorless or no, not a mirrorless? It's a
Sir,
DSLR, right?
mirror lens, yeah, I have that. Of the brand is of Fujifilm.
Fuji. Okay. So you people go out and click pictures.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we do.
So you people are quite familiar with the workings of a DSLR camera, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
कुछ लोगों के पास DSLR कैमरास का नॉलेज है कि कैसे काम करता है और कुछ लोगों के पास नहीं है. But let me tell you, those who don't have a DSLR camera, all of you use a mobile phone nowadays, and we all have cell phones, we all have smartphones with us, and probably the generation, your generation, जो smartphones use करते हैं, those are quite good, and they have pro features in them. So smartphones may be pro features हैं, so don't worry. It's not necessary that you should have a DSLR all every time to click a picture. कई बार ऐसा होता है कि we just go out and we see a good we see a good frame and we need to capture that frame and we don't have a DSLR right there. So we can use our mobile phones if we know a bit about photography, if we know a bit about framing, if we know the technicalities, if we know the aesthetics, and if you want to portray or to showcase a story, what a photographer wants to convey. It's a story the photographer sees. It's not what you see, it's what the photographer sees. So if you have a story in your mind and you see a particular thing happening and you want to frame it, you can use your mobile cameras as well. And there are many pro features in the mobile cameras as well. So basically, let me tell you what is going to happen in the photography club. Emar sir, Mojammel Rahman sir, Dhiman sir will be first telling you about the technicalities of photography. Some of you know it, some of you don't. So please listen to these very carefully. Some of the aesthetics, there are basically no thumb rules for photography, but maybe there are no thumb rules for photography, but maybe some framing options are aesthetically pleasing while looking at. So Emar sir, Dhiman sir will be discussing some of the frames, the selection of frames, where to keep an object, where not to keep an object, right? What lines means in a photograph, and a photograph, how should the aesthetic appeal, the storytelling of a photograph, all these will be discussed. The colors in a photograph, the colors speak a lot, colors speak a lot. So all these things will be, and the technical details like the shutter speed, the aperture, the ISO, these are the technical details. So when you handle a camera, you should be first very much acquainted with these technicalities of a camera, like what is shutter speed, what is aperture, what is ISO, how to control these, and how to click pictures. So these are the technicalities. And then there would be framing part, how to frame your picture, where to keep the object, where not to keep the object, how should you frame a picture so that it tells a story. So my personal opinion is, and I would end and I'll let Emar sir start. My personal opinion is, whenever you click a picture, your picture should convey a story. It is how you see the frame. You want others to see your story through a photograph. So over to Emar sir. Emar sir?
Yes, am I audible?
Yes, you are. And over to you.
Okay, thank you, Tanmoy sir, for your brief introduction for photography. So I'll be continuing this class. Welcome student in this photography club of our MCK Institute of Engineering. And this photography club is basically constructed under the induction program 2022. As per the definition of what is photography, you can see on the screen, but this is not going to come in the exam. So we should not memorize this definition. You can find this definition in internet and anywhere. If you go, then you can more or less get these kind of things as a photograph. But I'd like to ask
not audible.
a question direct from you. What do you
Sir, your
understood
voice
by
is not audible.
Hello.
Voice is not clear, sir.
Okay, let me check it again. Is it fine now?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you can see the definition of photography over there. So I was asking the question, what do you understand by, I mean, yourself, what is photography according to you? Anyone?
photography is a art and it's a kind of hobby with someone.
Okay, fine.
Excuse me,
Anyone?
can I speak?
Sure.
So photography is what my heart sees through a frame.
Okay. Any other opinion?
Sir, photography is the talent to capture beauty in things that often go unnoticed.
Okay, you may have talent, but if you are not taking the pictures and you are not showing to anyone, so it is not a photography.
Sir, I feel the very expression of holding and capturing pictures of the present state of our surrounding nature and environment through the lenses that we see through our eyes, and capturing that is photography.
You know, when the camera, it was previously it was known as cameras. So when it was invented, actually it was called the light paint because the light was coming from the pinhole on the opposite side of the wall of these cameras, and then people was used to paint on that, and that was also the photographs, you know. So nowadays the photography is basically the art, basically with the help of science. It is an art to show what you want to show the other people's in in my point of view. It is kind of art with the help of science, how much I want to show the other people, how much I want to show the other people's. Okay, so everything is there, everything you can see, every peoples are observing that thing, but how much I want to show the other people's, this is photography according to my opinion. Okay, but if I come to the technicalities of the photography, so the first point which is coming into the point, how the camera works. So this thing, even the better image you can find out from the internet, if you can try to understand the thing. The three very important things are there. One is the aperture, which is basically controlling the light and
Hello.
Sir, we can't hear anything.
Just a second. Maybe there is a technical glitch. Just wait.
is it fine now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the three things are very important when you're taking the pictures with the help of DSLR's camera, and every cameras are working differently. But when the camera was invented, these things was there in the camera. And nowadays, things are basically reduced. So the first thing still there in the present system as well, that is the aperture. It is the basically a diaphragm which is attached with the lens, and it controls the amount of light which will be allowed to fall on the sensor. So previously a sensor was the film, and nowadays we are using the BSI, CMOS, and so many other type of electronic sensor to capture the image. And second point of obviously the sensor, and another thing is there. There is called shutter. So nowadays this shutter was obsoleted because no physical shutters are coming with that mirrorless camera nowadays. So there's a shutter which is called the electronic shutter, but shutter is there. And the last thing is sensor, where basically the image are basically produced. We record this image from the sensor. So these three things are very important, and these three things are basically comes with a different names in technical terms. I'll be talking about that very soon. So, but the thing is why it is very difficult to understand exposure. It was the very famous, quote in the famous film. And now, just 1 minute. Okay, so while you are taking the pictures, understanding exposure is very important. So as you can see, if you still talk about the exposure, the people will say, ask you exposure to what. So while you are taking a picture, basically you are painting with the help of light. So it is the exposure of light, how much light you should expose on the sensor. It may be film, it may be a electronic sensor like CMOS sensor or anything. So how much it will be exposed by light. So this is very important, and that can be done with the three different steps. And to understand the first step, suppose there is a water tap and the water is coming with a constant rate, as the generally at a daytime at a certain interval at a day. You can understand at that moment when the light is not adversely changed, it is not abruptly changes, then what going to happen? The light amount of light coming per second is constant. And if you wish to take the picture with the exact amount of light which is sufficient for the sensor, then you will be taking a correct exposure picture. So to understand that fact, suppose you need to collect the one bucket of water, not less, not too less, not too over. Okay, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, my slides are not changing, is it?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir, it's the same.
Okay, probably. Wait, just I'm just stop sharing, and I'm sharing it again. Okay, is it fine now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so I was talking about the exposure and now suppose the water is coming from a water tap with a constant rate, and you need to collect the water for a one bucket of water, not too less, not too high. So that is the exposure for your camera while you're taking the pictures. So exact the same amount of light you need to gather in your sensor, or I must say that a sufficient amount of light should be collected, not too less, not too high. Okay, so this is the exposure, and to understand that fact, since the water is coming with a certain rate, then what you need to do, you need to collect the water for a certain amount of time. This is called shutter speed in your camera. Okay, so this is the analogy of the shutter speed, and the aperture is something. Suppose the water tap have a, a larger diameter, and the water flow of the water is a little velocity is constant, the flow of the water will be increased. So this is quite analogous with the aperture. Okay, so I'll be talking this thing with a better analogy. So suppose you are taking a picture with a different time of the light gathering. This is called exposure. Okay, so on the left hand side you can see the light is little less, and it is very tough to recognize what is there inside the picture. This is called the underexposed picture. At the middle it is correctly exposed, it is not too overexposed, not too less exposed. On the right hand side you can see that most of the informations are gone, and that's why even you cannot see any clouds on the sky. This is gone actually, so it is overexposed. Okay, so another picture you can see over here. So on the right hand side again, so it is overexposed, and the middle, this is called the normal from camera. Normal from camera means if you set your camera in auto mode, then it will take this picture at the middle, and if you try to take the same picture manually, then you can get the difficulties. Okay, as you can see here on the left hand side, again it is the overexposed. On the rightmost you can see it is the underexposed picture. So to understand this exposed and overexposed and a correct exposure, you need to understand the balance between the aperture, shutter speed, and ISO speed. So ISO is not the part of the camera, it is a part of the the materials which is used in the sensor and the processor in modern camera. Previously the ISO was the property of the film. Okay, so ISO is bit of not your hand, that can be that can be inherent property of your camera, but what you can change, that is the aperture and shutter speed. And obviously you can also nowadays you can also change the ISO, but not too much effect will be there unless you are using the very expensive camera. Okay, so in ordinary mid-range camera, the ISO performance near about it is same. So there is an example of this effect of aperture, shutter speed, and there how the picture will look like for different effects. As you can see, if the shutter speed is very high, that means that time of exposing the picture is very less, then the picture will be sharp. And if the aperture is wide open, then one of the object will be very clear, and rest of the object behind and front will be in blurs. And if the aperture value is very small, then obviously the entire object you can see in focus. So this is called depth of field. I'll be talking about this, this depth of field, and there's a relationship with the depth of field and aperture. So first of all, talk about the aperture value. So this is the property of your lens. When you are using a camera, you know that in DSLR camera and mirrorless camera, whatever, so there are two parts. One is called the body, another is called the lens. So this lens have a particular maximum aperture value and minimum aperture value. So based on that, these lenses are basically come in the market, and accordingly the prices are defined. So if it is a fast lens, that means the aperture value is very high, then obviously it will be very expensive. And if the aperture value is very less, then it will be very less expensive. As you can see here, there is a aperture which is changing. As you can see, you can change the diaphragm, and accordingly the aperture will be changed. So when it is wide open, then aperture value is basically called high, because it is f by d, and if you are making this d is large, then obviously the entire value will be less. Anyway, so there is another example. So this is a formula for defining the aperture value. This is also marketly known as, or commercially known as, the f number or f stops. So it's generally read as 1.42, 2.84, 5.6. So those values are generally written on the lens body, lens on the lens. So this particular value have a different meaning. You know that when this, this 1.4 and 2. If you multiply 1.4 again by root 2, then you can get it 2. And if you multiply 2 by again by root 2, then you'll get 2.8 and so on. That means every number you can find just multiplied by root 2. Okay, and what is the relationship with the aperture and the amount of light? So amount of light is measured to the area. This is called area of aperture area. So if we are increasing that f-stop just by the nearest one, then basically you are decreasing the light by half. That means just you are getting the half light of the previous. Yes.
Sir, what aperture value is good for normal photo?
Okay, very soon you can understand. I'll be showing the pictures. I'm just discussing the technicalities, and when I'll be taking the images, then you can understand. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so this f is the focal length. So what lenses are using? If it is not a zoom lens, if it is a prime lens, then it should have a fixed focal length, and it should have a fixed diameter of the lenses as well. But when you are changing this area of the diaphragm, basically you are not using the entire area of the lenses. So this diaphragm, this diameter d is basically the diameter of the diaphragm, but it have a maximum limit of your lens. I mean, what diameter of your lens is, that is the maximum extent of your diameter, which you can use with the help of your diaphragm. So this aperture value has a limitations, and every lens have a limitations. So as you can see, with increasing with decreasing the f stops, what is going to happen? Every time the area becomes half and half, and again half and half, and so on, and the radius is just decreasing by root 2, and again by root 2, and again by root 2 factor. So what is going to happen if we try to understand this thing? Then is schematic tables are given over there, so that you can understand what is going over there. What is happening if we increase the f number, then what is going to happen? Okay, so here you can see, is it playing or still? Yes, I think it is playing.
Yes, sir.
Can you see the change? Yes. If I increase the f stop, or if I increase the f number, that means decreasing the aperture, what is going to happen? When it is wide open, that means f by 1.4, then only one object at the middle one, the yellowish toys are visible, and rest of the things are black. And when it is f by 22, that means the aperture is narrowed most, then you can get the entire images, not clearly all, but roughly you can see all of them. Okay, so this amount of area where the every images are in focus, this is called depth of field. So there is a relationship with the f stop number and with the depth of field. So this thing is very important while you are taking the portrait image, and some cases where you are doing the micro photography, then you need to pop the image from the rest of the objects. So this is called background blur or bokeh picture. So for this type of pictures, you need to set a certain distance from the lens as well as your aperture values, such that you can eliminate the background and foreground from the particular selected image. So this thing is the most important thing when you are doing the portrait photography. So, and that's why the portrait picture, portrait lenses are pretty expensive, because it is fast lens having a lesser f number. That means that it is maybe 1.8 or sometimes f by 1.4, and as less as 1.86 is also available right now in the market. So this is pretty expensive lens. Generally, we use 1.8 or 2 something, f by 2.0 something like lenses. So this is the utility of aperture where you can set your depth of field. And now I'll be talking about the shutter speed. So the sensor will be keep collecting the light. I mean, how long you will be keep open your shutter. So this is called shutter speed. That means how long you will open you will expose the sensor with light. This is called the shutter speed. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Fine. Is it clear?
Yes,
For
sir.
example,
Yes,
suppose I'm taking a picture and how long the shutter is open. This is called shutter speed of the uh, image. Okay, so every image should not take the same shutter speed because the light intensity which is available, the lens, how much you are opening, it is, I mean, they are interconnected, and that triangle I have already shown over there. Now you can understand the triangle, but I'm not showing this triangle again. You can understand. Okay, so that's it. And now there is an image. You can see that shutter speed are generally read by 1. 1 means 1 second. It is counted, its unit is second. And 1/2 means it is a half second. It is a quarter second. Okay, so it is the 1/8 second, and so on. And nowadays we are getting a camera where you can take the picture with 1/8,000 seconds are also, I mean, possible to take the pictures. That means a very momentarily picture can be taken with the help of this high shutter speed camera. So on the left hand side, as you can see, a rat is trying to escape out from the rat is trying to escape out from the cat. And if you try to take this picture, some of the, picture behind them will be a little blurry. Okay, so this is because of the time of time of the pictures, through which you are taking the gathering the light on your camera. By that moment the object is a little bit moved ahead, and that's why the images on the behind is leaving over there. So it's called blur picture. So to reduce this blur or blurriness from the picture, what you need to do, you need to increase the shutter speed. That means the less time you should expose the sensor, such that the moment will be frizzy on your image, and then image will be very clear. But all the time we need not to get a very, sharp, clean image. There is some situation I'll be showing you very soon where a blurry picture tells you another story. Okay, as you can see, the examples are given, the shutter speed effects are given over there at the middle. You can see a man was running, and when you are increasing the shutter speed, it is getting frizzy, and when you are decreasing the shutter speed, so generally it is becomes blur. Okay, on the top, when you are increasing the image, increasing the aperture, then the object is eliminated from the background, and as you are increasing the f-stop, then what is going to happen? The picture behind the man becomes clear. That means you are increasing the depth of field with increasing the f number. And the ISO value, ISO value is, I already told you, it is the property of the camera. You cannot change a must. If you increase the ISO, after that your image will be not usable after some extent. So suppose your camera is camera can take a picture with 8,000 ISO, and if you increase further, obviously you can take the picture, but there'll be so much grain, so much noise will be there in your image, and finally it may not be a usable picture. So if the light is if the ample amount of light are there, then try to make the ISO value lesser. And if the light is not present, suppose not present means that sufficient light is not there, then you increase the ISO value with a certain extent, such that your image catches a minimum amount of grains on your picture. Okay, so this is the tricks to increase the ISO, but do not increase with the maximum extent, otherwise your picture will not be usable. Okay, so this is the another example when we should use the ISO, high ISO value and less ISO value. You can understand. Symbolic image was given over there. So at the daytime, we'll try to make our ISO value as small as possible, and at the night time, we'll try to as not as much as possible high, but we'll try to increase it a bit such that we can get a grainless image. Okay, so that's it about the image. And now you can see there is a, can you tell me on the left hand side and the right hand side, two images are showed over there. So which is the wrong thing I did over there?
The 6.0
0.0 second shutter speed.
Yes. So what the wrong thing with this?
Sir, in
It
this
became hazy.
picture, the noise, hazy and noise
No,
become.
noise is not there. This is called motion blur. The object was moved, and that's why so many images are stacked on that, and that's why the image becomes blurry. Okay, so I told you I'll be showing you some pictures where the blurry is good. Okay, but it is not all the time. Okay, this is the picture I captured. Can you see the picture?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. What is ISO value?
Okay, everything is there. It is a raw picture, so every information is there. If you wish, then I can share this picture on the group, then you can see every settings over there. Okay,
Okay, sir.
just I want to say something, that is the blurriness is not always bad. Okay, because this blurriness is basically giving a motion on the picture. It is feeling the object is in motion. Got the point?
Yes, sir.
Another picture. Okay, should I move to the next?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. If you have a mobile, then use the auto rotation and place it in the landscape mode. Then you can see the picture in full screen. Okay, should I move to the next picture?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I took the same picture with a 1/3000 shutter speed, and that was not good at all. If I show that picture, it is not there in this slide, but this picture is there in my laptop. Then you can see what is the thing is there in this picture. But when I took this picture for 30 seconds of exposure, then it is really creamy soft image. Okay, and obviously I took the help of this ND filters. So this is another story. I'm not telling you that thing right now. Okay, look at this. In that case, if you take this long shutter speed image, then obviously it cannot capture this moment. And sometimes the photography is something which is basically force you to think. When you saw this picture, what you thought? Just tell me your feelings.
So the girl is falling down.
That means you are definitely thinking about the consequences. Am I right?
That shutter speed is very high.
A childhood story.
Yes, yes. The picture will tell you some story, then it will be very catchy. It will be a good image. Otherwise, it is just an image. Okay. Obviously, these two pictures was not taken by me. Okay. Okay. So, anything do you like to ask? Because I'll not be telling you anything technicalities in future, because I thought that much of knowledge is important to take a picture. Otherwise, I need to, help you with taking a camera in your hand. Otherwise, in online basis, I cannot help anymore.
Sir, does editing picture helps in making them good?
Depends how much you are editing, how much percentage you are editing on your real picture. Okay. One more thing I'd like to share you. We generally follow the SEA theory while you are, taking a picture or preparing a picture. So ACA means S means selection. Generally, when you decide this picture is to be taken. So this is called a selection. And then E for elimination. When you are selecting an object or any particular scenario, then you decide this should be there and those things should not be there. So this is elimination. So first we select something and then we eliminate something. And after eliminating, we feel that no, something is missing in this, and that is called addition. So which is not there and could make the image better if it could be there, then we add them. This is called addition. So this ACA theory basically helps us the picture to make with the picture perfect finish. Okay, so most of you generally chosen the photography. That means you are having some ideas of photography. You know that how to take the pictures. So I'll not be telling you any theories, because generally the people who take very good pictures do not follow any theories. Okay. So anything else would you like to ask?
So what will be the topic for the photography exhibition?
Just a moment. I'll be sharing the. Just a moment. I'll be sharing the group Telegram.
So will it be a random photography exhibition or
I'll be just right back. So just let me post the group link.
Thank you,
Sir, I have a question. If we are going, let me say that I am just decreasing the exposure of the lens. So in that case, I capture a lot less light than when my exposure is more, right? So there is another thing that we call white balance.
So there is
So
to light. If you are increasing the light, that means your exposure will be increased. Okay, it is not only connected with the shutter speed, it is also connected with the amount of light. Suppose there is a not sufficient light, then what do you add? You add a momentary light, which is called the flash. Okay, so to get the correct exposure, what do you need to do? You need to add up a flash. So when you are taking a picture in your wedding photography, suppose you are taking a picture in wedding photography, generally what do you need to do? You need to take the picture. You need to take the picture with the peoples are there. All the peoples are there. That means your depth of field will be large. And to increase the depth of field, what do you need to do? Decrease the aperture. So if you are decreasing the aperture, so you are not using the entire area of the lens where the lens, lights are coming. That means you are allowing a very feeble amount of light from the lens. Then how can you take the picture? So better option, you add up a extra light. This is called flash, and generally that's why people are using flashes in the wedding photography. Okay.
then sir, when there will be a lot of light, in fact the light that is not even necessary, but I have no option to remove that light source. So in
Yes.
that case, what should I do?
Yes,
Will it
that
be
was
enough?
the picture when I felt that. Okay, look at this. This picture when I took, there was a sunlight. Ample amount of light was there. If you increase that shutter speed up to 30 seconds, what will happen? You will see a white screen over there generally. Then how can you reduce it? If you reduce the increase the aperture or decrease the amount of openings on your lens, this is called f-stop. If you increase the f-stop by f by 22, which is very like a pinhole, then what is going to happen? There will be a aberration and the diffraction effect will be there, and that's why I fixed it at 11.2. The f-stop was 11.2. Then what about the light? I made the ISO with 50 only. Then even the shutter speed, which is sufficient to take this picture, was showing 1 by 4,000 seconds. Then I added up a ND filters. Okay, and these ND filters are basically decreases the amount of light by n numbers. It may be 4 stop n number, it may be 1 by 8, 1 by 24, 1 by 34. So this kind of ND filters are stacked over there, And finally, I took this picture. Got the point?
Sir,
Yes, sir.
we also
Then, sir,
decrease the
in
white
case of
balance.
Just one student at a time.
no, sir,
Sir,
what I was asking was that in case of dark profiles that usually people have, so in that case, is the ISO simply just increased?
There is no option, I mean, except increasing ISO. What
I
I mean, if you are having a lens, suppose that lens are having the f-stop. Generally, what lenses people are using, if it is a zoom lens, then its minimum stop is 3.5. So you cannot, I mean, increase further of your lens area.
Okay, sir.
Then what you need to do? Either you buy a new lens with the f-stop, which is 1.4, and this lens will be near about even 10 to 50 times expensive. There's a one option. So at that moment, you cannot change your lens. Then what can you change? Either shutter speed or ISO. So if you, I mean, increase the, I mean, decrease the shutter speed, the picture may be blurry. So there is a limitation. If generally, if you are taking a picture with a handheld camera, and there is a thumb rule, and if you are using the 50 mm lens, then obviously your shutter speed should be 1/52, not greater than that. Okay, so if we increase the shutter speed, I mean, greater than that of the 1/50, suppose 1/10, then obviously your handshake will be, I mean, making the picture blurry. Okay, so if you have a VR lens, that means vibration reduction lens or VR body, then obviously you can go for 1/10 seconds, but not 2 seconds or even greater time. Obviously, you can even do that placing the camera on a study point, on a tripod, or on a I mean, any chair, on any fixed stable area. Then if that facilities are not there, if you wish, if you have only one option to take the picture with your handheld situation only, then the last option is increase your ISO with a, I mean, prestigious level. That means up, if, not too high, because if you increase the ISO too high, then obviously your image will be there, but it will not be usable image. Okay. Got the point, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. I thought you will be asking some, I mean, very related question. You are not asking, so I'll be asking. So what type of photograph, I mean, you know that you need to submit the image within 2 to 3 days with different categories. I'm now telling you the categories. It is one of the categories is micro photography. Do you know anyone the micro photography?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So many small creatures are there, and people are basically taking their photographs. Not only the creatures, people are also making their small objects, and they are taking their pictures. And this is called micro photography. So it is there in our I mean, category where you can submit your picture, and maximum 2 pictures you can send, and the selected photos will be shown on the last day's I mean, presentation. You know, on the last day there's a celebration where the people will show the performance. So on the last day's performance, the selected pictures will be shown with your name, roll number, and total detail, whatever you are having. So that with that detail, it will be shown the selected pictures on it, and they also get the certificates. Okay, so one student can submit 2 images, and it is not necessary you need to submit 2 images on the same category. You can also, I mean, submit 2 images for 2 different categories. Another category is the portrait category. Portrait category means
Sir,
yes.
sir, in portrait category, is there street portraits? Are
Yes. But some of the restrictions are there. Your portrait picture should not hurt. Listen very carefully. Your portrait picture should not hurt any gender, any religious, or about our nation.
so I can portray a subject through the portrait. Can I?
Yes.
Matlab, I can portray a noble cause like smoking causes cancer, like these photographs
Yes,
in that.
this is, I told you, the picture should not hurt our national, I mean, prestige, First one. Second one, any gender, any religious.
Can I
Okay.
give this type of photograph? Smoking causes cancer, like this type of photograph
You
subject.
can do it. You can do it. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
And if you are taking the picture of any, I mean, very famous figure, and they can lodge any case against you, you should.
Famous personalities.
Yes. That you need to
Sir,
handle.
where do
I'll
we
have to
need
share
to
with you.
submit the photography?
Pardon?
Where do we need to submit the photos?
Okay, come to the Telegram group. You can get the entire story. Everything will be given over there. Don't worry about that. Okay,
Sir,
so
are
let me
there
speak
only
about the
two
first
topics,
category.
or?
I was telling you something. May I complete?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so so far I have already told you about two categories. One is the micro photography, another is the uh, portrait photography. So nature photography is another one. Those people are I mean, having keen interest to roam around the jungles and
Sir, is mobile photo allowed?
yes, it is a good question. I'll be talking about this. Already Sir answered that question. Nowadays people are taking the pictures with the mobiles. And mobiles are pretty, I mean, capable enough to take the good pictures, except extreme, portrait photography. Even the nowadays the cameras are coming with the AI lenses. Even you can take the portrait photography with very good AI background blurs. All those things you can do with your mobile. So mobile photography is 100% acceptable. Don't worry about that. But you should not steal the other pictures. Okay. If you caught,
Yes, sir.
I mean, responsibility is yours.
Sir, excuse me.
Sir, when we submit the pictures, have we have to watermark the pictures, right?
Yes, it is better if you put your impression on the image, then it will be better. Okay, and what you need to write on the image, I'll be telling you. Okay, let us decide. I'll be telling you what you need to write on the image, because if it is
Sir,
written,
excuse me.
then obviously I need not to write your name and all those things on the PPT, and I need not to do these things. So where to place and what to place on the image, that will be told you very soon. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Got the point? Yes.
Sir, excuse me. Sir, is there any other topic other than all these three, nature's portraits, and
So
micro photography?
I was every time I was stopped by another question. Okay, so I totally lost from my flow. I was telling you on that thing, so I totally detract. Anyway, so I was talking about the fields of photography, or the the topics of photography on which you can submit your picture. So, how much? I mean, what I said, micro, portrait.
So micro portrait and nature.
Yes, another is the landscape photography. Landscape photography is there.
Does the festival photos come inside this landscape?
Festival photo means what?
Just like the photos from Kumotuli, like that.
You can give it, no problem. You can. This is also comes, I think, with the portrait category. Is it not?
So this actually comes in street photography.
Okay, street is, I already told you, street is allowed,
different.
extremely allowed. Only with only few things. I told you, in street photography, you should not hurt on three, I mean, particular issues. Okay, so strictly that thing will be followed.
Sir.
And if you are doing this,
sir, what
photo will be, I mean, eliminated, not selected. Yes.
Sir, what is the maximum amount of photographs we can submit?
I already told you, 2 photos per person.
Okay, and what will be the deadline for it?
I already told you, within 2 to 3 days you need to submit. Okay, so get ready for that.
So from today itself?
Yes, from today itself.
Okay, so thank you.
By tomorrow will be.
So where have to submit the photos?
I told you, we'll tell you
Telegram
everything on the Telegram. Okay, where to submit, what should be the size, everything I'll tell you. Okay, don't worry about that. Can I show?
So we have to submit that, sir, excuse me?
Yes.
So we have to submit the photograph in document format?
Everything will be told you. So don't worry about that. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And sir, camera photo, I mean